have been fitting to lower the flags to half-staff when Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota House Speaker, was gunned down by an assassin as well?
I'm not familiar. The
Minnesota House Speaker, a Democrat, who was assassinated this summer.
Well, if the governor had asked me to do that, I would have done that. But the governor of Minnesota didn't ask me. I didn't. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I would have if somebody had asked me. People make requests for the lowering of flag, and oftentimes you have to say no because it would be a lot of lowering. The flag would never be up. Had the governor of Minnesota asked me to do that, I would have done that gladly.
Just to make sure I'm understanding here, Republicans have been falsely claiming that the left is the party of violence, which elicits the same response from everyone on the left, that it wasn't the left that assassinated Melissa Hortman and her husband, it wasn't the left that bludgeoned Paul Pelosi with a hammer, it wasn't the left that carried out mass shootings against marginalized communities like the Tree of Life Synagogue and the Charleston Church, it wasn't the left that did January 6th, where they sought to hang Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi, but of course, when Trump is confronted on that point, his response is to say, and I quote, "Who?" The president of the United States is either so wrapped up in his own bubble that he legitimately does not know about an instance of right-wing violence against Democrats, any instance of right-wing violence against Democrats, or he is so committed to the bit of pretending that the right is this peaceful movement and the left is violent that he's literally just playing make-believe at the prospect of right-wing violence existing. Either way, it is a wholesale denial of reality. In fact, if Trump truly wanted to learn about that violence against Melissa Hortman, perhaps he could have checked in with Republican Senator Mike Lee, or Based Mike Lee, as he's known on Twitter for his edgy and based comments that he makes online when he posted stuff like this. As well as another tweet where he wrote, "This is what happens when Marxists don't get their way." This is what happens, apparently, according to a Republican U.S. senator. State legislators apparently deserve to be assassinated at their homes by people posing as police officers, but who in fact are there to murder them. When it happens on the left, Republicans post edgy memes. When it happens on the right, you've got literally every elected official on the left lamenting political violence. So no, both sides are apparently not the same. In fact, this isn't even the first time that Trump has just cast off the prospect of political violence against the left. Here he is not just ignoring, but mocking the violence done to Paul Pelosi.
We'll stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know? And she's against building a wall at our border, even though she has a wall around her house, which obviously didn't do a very good job.
So when Trump pretends that violence is a one-way street from left to right and not the other way around, he and his mouthpieces are not interested in reality. They are interested solely in exploiting any crisis or tragedy for their own political gain, which is why, even before we knew a single thing, a single detail about the Kirk shooter, this is the kind of stuff that they were posting.
I'm going to say this. Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. They probably, all the kids of every conservative in the country call panicking. Just because you speak your mind on an issue doesn't mean you get shot.
Then by that logic, do Republicans own the shooting of the two Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota?
Political.
Isn't this on both sides?
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm asking
We
a
don't
serious
know what
question.
condition Charlie Kirk is in right now. Some raging leftist lunatic put a bullet through his neck, and you want to talk about Republicans right now? No.
No, I'm asking
no, not
you.
at all.
You said the Democrats have
this is on.
but I'm asking,
Democrats own this.
The Democrats just killed Charlie Kirk today. They're desperate. They're losing. They want to intimidate you and me and everybody else.
Charlie Kirk's a casualty of war. We're in this country.
When is the Democrats going to stand up and apologize for the hatred and the lies that they have fed their base that's led to these actions?
They are at war with us. Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us.
Does that strike you as people who are interested in getting to the facts surrounding this shooting, or more like people who are desperate to exploit any tragedy to help themselves politically? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I agree with Charlie Kirk on nothing. I think his rhetoric was disgusting, dangerous, extreme, and dehumanizing. He normalized much of the violence that ironically led to his own killing, including by literally suggesting that deaths are a price worth paying for the Second Amendment, something which I vehemently disagree with. I also never, ever, ever agree that violence is an acceptable way to resolve our differences. I have never and will never advocate for violence. To my knowledge, not a single high-profile Democrat has advocated for violence or supported the shooting. All the while, the right is falling over itself to do the opposite, to foment violence at a time when lowering the temperature is not only prudent, but absolutely necessary. And look, I say this as someone who has a very, very vested interest in lowering the temperature. We live in a world where political commentators are being assassinated in broad daylight. If you don't think that that's something I've spent 24 hours a day thinking about, you're kidding yourself. If you don't think that's something that my family hasn't spent 24 hours a day thinking about, my friends, my neighbors. And it's not just because I'm concerned about my own safety. Everyone in this country is less safe in a place where this kind of dangerous behavior becomes normalized, where people can't show up in public places because they are of a certain political persuasion. Is there anyone in this country who actually benefits from this, who wants that? Is there anyone who doesn't think that the temperature needs to be turned down? Apparently there's one person, and he's the President of the United States, someone who thrives in division.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today. Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives.
Why? Because the only tool in his toolbox is hate, acrimony, hostility, and contempt. And he wields it on a daily basis because when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. The reality is that Donald Trump wants the division, and so he will create it. Insofar as I have any shred of influence, my appeal to those of you watching right now is to not fall victim to the forces of evil and chaos that want to divide us. There are people who want to come together, and there are people who want to tear us apart. Donald Trump is very clearly the latter. His Republican mouthpieces will fall into that camp as well. We live in a dangerous world. Our online spaces are radicalizing Americans faster than anything we've seen in history. It is easy to fall victim to hate and vitriol. It's much more difficult to rise above our basest instincts. Do not give Trump the satisfaction of getting exactly what he wants out of this. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.